So we're going to have a look at a video that supposedly claims that 57,000 Moroccans have gone back to Morocco from Ceuta, or Ceuta, however you pronounce it. I'm doubtful. I'm very skeptical that that many were sent back. How were they sent back? Were they pushed back into the water, told to swim? Were they sent on buses? There's water from Ceuta to Morocco. How'd they get back? Were they sent on big ships? This just happened. So I don't know if I buy that. You're talking about tens of thousands of people were sent. What was the mode of transportation? How did you get them to go back? Because unless you're willing to threaten, put guns in their faces, I mean, I need to hear more before I make such a judgment. Anyway, make sure to like, subscribe, share, leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram for all of your South Florida real estate needs. And you can go to the Buy Me a Coffee link right there in the pinned comment or description. And you can donate whatever you feel is sufficient. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's get into it.
Good morning.
I just want to start by asking if you have an update on the situation. Spain says the majority of the people who arrived in Ceuta have left as of Friday evening. Do you know if there's still a large number of migrants there?
Well, the situation is still quite chaotic, and it's difficult to get, reliable, verifiable information. Certainly, it does sound like most have returned. We hope that reports that these returns were voluntary are true. And we also hope that those who remain will be sheltered, will be treated fairly, and will have an opportunity to have any claims that they have to remain properly assessed.
These Spanish enclaves, Ceuta and Melilla, are the EU's only land border with Africa. So in that sense, they're sort of easier to get to. But then once people get there, how easy is it for them to then reach mainland Europe?
First of all, these are heavily fortified borders. Both cities, Melilla and Ceuta, are really surrounded by very high fences. And it's extraordinarily difficult, actually, normally to reach. Of course, we've seen over the past few days, while obviously tens of thousands of people arrived, dozens of people, as you say, the latest estimate is 57 people died in the attempt. So it's very difficult and very dangerous. Once people arrive in Ceuta and Melilla, while they are part of Spain, and as such, they are part of the Schengen free movement area. There are special rules applied to the autonomous cities, and it's actually quite difficult to travel onward. So a lot of the scaremongering that we've heard and the reactions from countries like Italy, sort of thundering about suspending Schengen or suspending Spain from Schengen are really red herrings that don't match up with the reality of the situation.
Yeah, as you emphasize, it's really dangerous and difficult to get to Ceuta. The big question on many people's minds is why and how so many people arrived there so quickly. What's your sense of what led to this?
Well, we can really only speculate right now, and of course there will be a lot of investigations into this, and hopefully we will be able to identify those responsible, or the factors that were responsible. I think it's fairly clear that misinformation that spread on social media contributed to people thinking that this was an opportunity that they should take. It's clear that smuggling networks in general are very agile. They're very good at exploiting situations in order to reap profits from their business. I do want to say that I think the characterization of the Supreme Court ruling and the way it's being sort of weaponized to criticize the Spanish government and the Spanish judiciary is very, very unfortunate. As we've heard, the interpretation of the ruling is very partial. And in any event, we would argue that summary expulsions are always wrong, and they should not be lawful regardless of how anybody arrives, whether it's swimming or climbing over a fence. Once people are on Spanish territory, they need to be treated with dignity and have all of their rights respected.
Yeah, the characterization of the Supreme Court ruling has perhaps also been sort of lumped in more broadly with Spain's more open approach to immigration compared to the rest of Europe. Many on the far right are saying that this is evidence of what they call the pull factor, with kinder policies sort of attracting people. What do you make of that explanation?
Well, first of all, the whole argument around push and pull factors gets very, very messy, and focusing on pull factors is usually really a wrong approach that does not reflect the actual dynamics of migration. Most people move because of their needs, because they need to seek protection, because they want to improve their lives, and it's more the drivers that are relevant rather than any policies in place in a given country. That being said, if we want migration policies and policies in general that respect rights. Now, we can't accept a logic of having policies that violate people's rights in order to deter migration. That would be extremely wrong-headed and would go against all of the values that the European Union was founded on.
You mentioned Italy's fear-mongering in particular. That country says it's suspending its Schengen relationship with Spain. Legally, is that something they can actually do, or is that just talk?
Yeah, it's really just talk. What they can do is implement stricter border controls for people arriving from Spain. They can do that following a process that they can't just do it unilaterally. They have to consult about it and tell the European Commission that they want to do it. But they can't suspend Spain from Schengen. That's just nonsense.
All right. Thank you so much for clarifying all of that for us. We're going to have to leave it there. Judith Sunderland, thank you again. She's the Senior Associate Director of the Refugee and Migrant Rights Division at Human Rights Watch.
Now, tens of thousands of people surged into the tiny Spanish territory Ceuta in northern Morocco this week. Spain has declared the crisis effectively over, but what's left in the aftermath? And what happens to the people who crossed? Our correspondent is there. Stick around. He'll answer those questions in just a moment. But first, I want to bring you up to speed very quickly on what actually happened. Days ago, migrants stormed the border fence, crossing from Morocco into Ceuta, while others swam around barriers. Most of the migrants were young men, but there were also families, women and children, about the equivalent of 70% of Ceuta's population. Dozens also died trying to make the cross. Spain sent its military to bring the border under control, and since then, it says most people have returned to Morocco voluntarily. And just a reminder of where this is. Ceuta is a Spanish territory on Morocco's northern coast, separated from mainland Spain by the Strait of Gibraltar. And for a long time, migrants have attempted to use it as a gateway to Europe. Correspondent Jan Philipp Schultz has been telling me what it's like there today.
Well, it's still a tense situation. It is better than it was yesterday, but I wouldn't call it under control as some authority claim. I've still seen clashes between police, military and migrants, also between locals and some migrants this morning. And of course, more than 60,000 people came. So even if it's true that 80–90% have left, we are still talking about thousands of people in this small city that are still on the streets, sleeping on the beach, as you can see behind me, and complaining that they haven't had food or water for days. So there's a high level of frustration as well on the side of the local residents as on the side of the migrants here.
Jan Philip, as you've just said, and as we understand from Spain, most of those who crossed have now returned to Morocco. Spain says voluntarily, but as you say, not everyone's gone back. And I want to play a soundbite from a young man that you spoke to today, and then we'll come back to you.
I want to food. I have 4 days. I don't want food. Nothing. Just drink the water and nada food. Nada. I want just food and what centro is that.
And you don't want to go back to
Morocco because I don't have nothing in Morocco. I don't have nothing in Morocco. Why I want to look. Oh.
Jan Philip, a couple of things there. We just heard the young man say how hungry he was, and then we saw what looked like to be someone from the army run up to another person and possibly apprehend them. Could you just tell us what happened there?
It is this situation here at the moment that I've described before, the frequent clashes between authorities and migrants, because not everybody is willing to go back voluntarily. Of course, a lot of people have gone back, and I think you can also safely say that a lot of them have gone voluntarily, or simply because they've been so exhausted, so hungry, that they haven't seen any other chance. We are also talking about temperatures of above 30 degrees here, so very difficult to stay outside 24 hours and have no food nor water. But there is a smaller group of migrants that don't want to go back, and the authorities here have been reacting increasingly robust. They are pushing the people away from the beaches or from overwhelmed reception centers that cannot take any more people in. So they are pushing them, and they are pushing them towards the border to Morocco. So I would say a few thousand people are still around, and now the authorities are getting, I would say, more and more desperate to find ways how to make them cross the border again into Moroccan territory.
And just to be clear, you've described this robust response and also how people are really very hungry and thirsty. They're not being given food and water?
No, they have not been given food and water. I've hardly seen any humanitarian organizations around. Also, no state institutions that provide such things. I've heard a few migrants say,
Oh, no food and water. I don't see anyone complaining about that online. Crazy shit. I don't know. Things are too early to say how many people actually went back. How this all seems too up in the air. Share your thoughts on this entire thing. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi, the realtor, for all of your South Florida real estate needs. And you can check out the Buy Me a Coffee link if you'd like to support the channel. It would mean the world to me. Until next time, peace.